I'll set my worth then I tax. You throw your weight on the back of me, and you call it love. These are the cards I've been dealt, and I never really liked myself. Maybe I'm not too sensitive, maybe it's representative. Maybe my hyper feminine compensates for your lack of a gentleman. You ask why I'm so emotional, my mania, I got no self-control. But I'm the girl that you die for, I'll cover you up, you eyesore. I pull my hair from my face, got my brown eyes out, you turned into such a waste. Little pens full of rage, put her thoughts to the page. Bigger chest, better weight, and she'll help me burn you out with sage. Maybe I'm just too sensitive, maybe it's representative. Maybe I'm hyper feminine, compensating for your lack of gentleman. You ask why I'm so emotional, my mania, I got no self-control. But I'm the girl that you die for, I'll cover you up, you eyesore. Make me a criminal, you know I'm worth my unconditional love. This is unforgivable, I'm the girl you should have died for, I'm the one you could dance and die for. You can wrap me in all your songs, you can go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. Me in all your songs, go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. Spit on my face, claim you're my saving grace. Say what you want to achieve, I'll make sure I'll beat ya. Call me a whore, no, my approach is so boring. Good luck with your songs when you don't have me to sing. Make me a criminal, you can try. I'm worth my unconditional love. This is unforgivable, I'm the girl you should have died for, I'm the one you could dance and cry for. Wrap me in all your songs, go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. Wrap me in all your songs, go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong.
How about if we get a bit edgy today with an Australian musician who's turning heads and making waves with her unique style and her message? You know, sometimes we just need to have a little bit of fun and push the envelope a bit. So put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation, because it's time for Coffee Breaks with Steve. Well, welcome to Coffee Breaks with Steve. My name is Steve, and this is the show where we come together around our virtual coffee table each week and join the conversation to talk about interesting topics with amazing guests. If you're with us for the first time today, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Excuse me. Wait, you can tell. Listen, frog in the throat. You know what that means. Everybody drink. Had a great conversation a few weeks back with an amazing artist, musician, multi-talented musician in Australia. And it's always fun to talk to people who are coming from different places around the world, we have had the privilege of doing that on several occasions with the show. And I mean, it's fun to talk to anybody, everybody, but you get an entirely different perspective when you're talking to people who are not within the same insular geographic, social, political space that we are in sometimes. And just a tremendous amount of fun. And I think you're going to enjoy the conversation with Emeree. Well, I want to see how everybody's doing. Let us know how you are today. If you haven't yet said hello in the chat and you are here, please do say hello. Let us know that you are tuned in today and what you're up to on this mid-October. We're a little more than halfway through the month of October, which means that things like Halloween are coming up. And we're going to be rolling into the holiday season. We're already making our plans for that. We're starting to schedule things with our family who will be in town over the holidays. We're talking about what we're going to be doing for activities when everybody's here at the Christmas holiday even. And you say, it's a lot early to be doing that. We get like, they're going to be like 12, 13, 14 of us here in the house over the holidays. And across quite a good age range. So we need to start planning early on and figure out where everybody's going to be and what's going to be happening. Yeah. So yeah, let's get on to our sweet and savory here, the charcuterie, and talk about a few things that are coming up and going on in the world around us. I love this story. A historic home in Redding, California, is about to begin a new chapter as a refuge for homeless veterans. Now, I have some connections, our family does, to Redding. Our son, Christopher, lives in Redding. We've been there a number of times, of course, with our grandson, Nicholas, as well, obviously. And it's a cool town at the northern end of the state of California. It's got a diverse feel about it. And it's another town like Spokane, that's sort of a big little city type of thing. But this is something that they're doing there that caught my attention. I thought was very special. A 105-year-old home, which has been newly refurbished, is set to open next month in November. The 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom house underwent a transformation thanks to the nonprofit organization Nation's Finest. The organization supports homeless veterans by providing housing, employment, and healthcare assistance. The remodel cost approximately $200,000, and the home will accommodate up to 4 people. Nation's Finest decided to renovate the previously dilapidated property after acquiring it in April. The home is less than a mile from the Good News Rescue Mission, Redding's only homeless shelter. Currently, more than 150 veterans are homeless on the streets of Redding, according to Nation's Finest. The nonprofit plans to host an official ribbon cutting and grand opening of the home next month. So I hope that we can continue to follow this story. And my hope would be that we can perhaps do a follow-up where we cover that ribbon cutting and see this home come to life as a place where homeless veterans can find shelter and support and the help that they need to thrive. What else is coming up here? Well, we actually do have some birthdays this week. Summer Lee Carlson, who was a guest on this show several weeks back. You can tell by the way I'm talking, I need more of this. Is celebrating a birthday this week. Celebrating a birthday, in fact, tomorrow. Summer Lee Carlson is a musician and artist who's currently living in Korea. Is that right, Carissa? Is that what I'm remembering? This was Chelan's guest on the show. And if I remember correctly, Summer Lee Carlson, I know she's over in Asia. And again, I need a lot more coffee this morning. It was one of the shows that was covered in my absence, but an amazing guest. And thank you, Rick. We need that because Chelan is obviously not here to do that part of her job. So we need your assistance with the Everybody Drink. But Summer Lee is celebrating a birthday, and we want to wish her a very, very happy birthday. And then Rick Castaneda, also a friend of the show, has been on before, filmmaker and screenwriter who has done several independent films and a number of other projects, is celebrating a birthday on October 23rd. Rick, help us out here. Thailand. Thank you, Carissa. It seemed to me she spent time in Korea, but she was either in Thailand or Cambodia, and I can't remember which, and that's on me. Sorry, Summer Lee Carlson. I should know that. I know that Rick Castaneda is in California. As a filmmaker, he's sort of in the heart of where filmmaking takes place. But anyway, happy birthday to both of them this week. Do you have a special day this week that I did not have on my calendar? Well, you need to let me know that. Can you put that in the chat so that we're aware and so that we can celebrate that with you today? Maybe it's a birthday, maybe it's an anniversary, maybe it's just some other special day that you or someone very close to you is celebrating, and you'd like to make sure that they get that mention or you get that mention here on Coffee Breaks. Put it in the chat. You've got a special day coming up sometime in the next few weeks or the next few months. You can send us an email at cbwsteve@comcast.net. We will be sure to get that in the calendar for the show, and we will celebrate with you at the proper time. All right. Yes, thank you. Carissa's helping my all too poor memory with things that I obviously cannot remember. I want to tell you a little bit about our guest today and tell you a little bit about the upcoming segment, because to me, this is one of those fun times where we kind of break out of some of the normal mold. You know that we love to have musicians on the show, and the talk itself is not edgy, but I think if you do a little bit of checking into our guest, you'll find out that she's got a little bit of an edginess to her. And I'm not saying that at all in a negative way. Her message and her approach to music is very much a head turner and a wave maker, and that's a good thing. Emeree is the project of Australia's standout musician, producer, and multi-instrumentalist Gabrielle Emeree, whose music blends contemporary R&B with soul influences akin to Amy Winehouse. Known for her 4-octave vocal range, incredible whistle notes, and warm production, Emeree stands out in 2025 with unique sound that feels both familiar and fresh. Her lyrics, often exploring sexual identity and female empowerment, captivate with their raw honesty. A talented producer as well, Emeree's work has garnered over 50 million Spotify streams, including Tyler Jane's hit Energy, which secured international sync placements. She frequently collaborates across both the US and the UK as a producer and as a songwriter. On stage, Emeree has opened for notable artists like Thelma Plum, Jacqueline, and Bujera, and her music has received airplay on national Australian stations like Triple J and Triple J Unearthed. Her tracks have also featured on editorial playlists such as Fresh Finds of 2023 and Beat Waves. So let's take a look and a listen to our special guest this week, Emeree. Emeree, welcome to Coffee Breaks with Steve. Thank you for taking the time to join us from quite a ways away. Where are you located?
I'm in Australia. I'm actually in a place called the Sunshine Coast at the moment, but I'm usually in Melbourne.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time. And fortunately, at the time that we're recording this, it's not the middle of the night for either one of us. So that's always an advantage. Hopefully we're awake here. Well, you know, you've had already an amazing career as a musician. And I think it's always interesting to sort of go back and talk about the beginnings. Where did music start for you? Was music a part of your life from an early age?
Yes, I've always known that I was going to have a career in music, and it's always been my driving force. I started playing the flute when I was 6. And yeah, I remember when I was about 4 years old watching Australian Idol and just like turning to my parents and saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. And they were like, okay. And that's kind of what I did. And I have had many different avenues that I've gone down with the way that I have worked in the industry, but I always knew that I've never had a backup option. That's always been, music has always been my entire life.
You mentioned the flute, but you play several instruments, correct?
I do, yes.
What all do you play?
So I do play flute, I play guitar, keys, and I sing. I'm actually learning the saxophone at the moment as well. And I can kind of fumble my way through enough things. A lot of producers can play things like well enough that you can just edit it. So I can play a few other things as well, just kind of okay.
That's cool. So you talked about starting at an early age. Did you come from a musical family where other members of your family, was that part of the drive and the influence?
My family all really love music, and my dad plays guitar. But no one has a career in music. But I grew up in a family that really like loves a campfire jam. Like we all like
Yeah.
everyone will play guitar around the campfire. But that's pretty much it. I very much was the first to kind of enter this industry, so no one really knew what that would look like, I
Huh.
guess.
Now, are you completely self-taught, or did you have formal training along the way?
Both. Yeah, I've had a fair bit of training. Like I had lessons growing up. I did a lot of focus on composition while I was in high school and things like that. And then I did go to uni. I actually teach at a few universities now as well. And yeah, so I had like a formal qualifications, and then I did some post-grad study. And yeah, now I get to teach people that, as well as actually just getting to do my job, which is really fun.
Nice. You said that music was always there, that you never really had a fallback plan, but there had to be a point where you kind of knew some point that was kind of a turning point, or the switch flipped and you said, okay, yes, this is the path. This is the career path. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I think there's definitely been moments where I can't pinpoint just one, because I think it's always a constant, like it's a thing that keeps happening, and there's different points in like different parts of what I do, because obviously I'm an artist and a producer, so it can look different in different ways. But for example, recently, like I just did a run of shows at this festival in Australia called Big Sound, and it's a big industry conference. And my last show at Big Sound, I really had this feeling where I was just like, I am in the right place. I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing. Like this is like, yeah, just such a sense of fulfillment. And I have that often, especially in the studio. Like I'm so at home in the studio. I love being in the studio. I never get sick of it. I will just, it's hard for me to take a day off, purely because I love what I get to do so much. But I think there's been times, especially with like being a producer, there's definitely been times where, I've kind of had like a little bit of, especially when I was early on in my career, where maybe I had someone say like, oh, you're actually like a good producer, and maybe those kind of helped influence that. But I don't think I can really pinpoint one moment that like changed that for me.
It's an ongoing process. I like
Yeah.
that as well. Should always be refreshed.
Yes.
So, as an artist, who would you say are some of your influences, if stylistically, or just the people that you look to and really admire and appreciate as musicians?
Yes. So Ray is a huge one. I love Ray's music as a song and her work as a songwriter. I love a lot of the production. So I really love Mike Sabbath, because I love what he did with her album. I really love, I've done a lot of like research into Mark Ronson's career, and that's kind of like my ideal sort of career, is a Mark Ronson sort of thing. And I love I like, minus DJing, but more on like the production side of things. But yeah, I love what he does. It's very cool. I love Olivia Dean, Cleo Soul. Like I love a lot of very like soul sounding things. But yeah, I think it just depends. Like I think it filters in and out of so many different things. Yeah, and different people that inspire me.
Yeah. Your music, do you do covers? Is it original? Are you writing your own stuff? Where does the music come from?
All original. I write everything. Most of it I've got out now. I wrote and produced and engineered all of it. But I do really love collaboration, and I've like been slowly starting to release more of those. I feel like I love collaborating on other people's work. I have to be really, I'm quite picky with what ends up coming under the Emeree project, but I've had some awesome collaborations recently that I've absolutely adored. I love working with writers, and my favorite format to work is where I'm in the producer seat and I'm co-writing with other people, and I've just got writers in the room. I love working in that format. That's so fun. But also sometimes it's nice to just sit back and just be the writer. But yeah, I'm always a producer and a writer on my work.
I think that the concept of writing music, whether it's the melody part of it or it's writing lyrics, is something that a lot of people, you step back and you go, how in the world do you even do that? Where do you find that inspiration comes from, to whether it's do you hear the melody first and you find words, lyrics to go with it, or do you find the poetic element of lyrics first and then a tune kind of takes care of itself, or does it happen different ways at different times?
Definitely different ways at different times. And because I'm often like, I am in sessions and in the studio most days of my life. So I don't think it's productive for me to only want to work one way, because I need to be able to pull out ideas all the time. So I think naturally, like when I first started writing songs when I was 6 or something, it very much was lyrics and melody at the same time. Like it all kind of comes to me at once. But I would say now it depends on how I'm working, because sometimes I'll make like a beat and I'll produce something and then I'll write to that. Sometimes I'll like have a melody idea. Sometimes I'll have a lyric idea. Usually I find that they kind of coincide with each other, but I really, especially over the last few years, started like refining lyrics and really like going, okay, that's what's come out with it, but like, how can I strengthen that? Because I'm very big on making my lyrics as strong as they can be. And I really like to take time to make sure that it's not just the sound that I like. I think I used to really work that way, that I'd like the sound of how that word feels, but I'm very big on telling a story and making that all make sense.
Shifting gears a little bit, because you've talked about the producing aspect a few times, and beginning to learn an instrument and beginning to exercise the musician part of it at an early age. How did the production side come about in your life? Was that just you producing your own music and it kind of expanded from there?
Yeah, so I only fell into production because it was compulsory at my university. And I'm so grateful for that. I first went into a classical flute degree and I did that for 6 weeks and then I dropped out. And that was one of the best decisions I've made, because I would have been a great flute player, but I would have known nothing else. And I just knew that I wanted something that was a bit more all round and that was going to help me with a career that was multifaceted. And that was something I really wanted to focus on. And I really loved composition. And I don't think I realized how much production is composition. And that's kind of where I came from. Like I was doing a lot of like using Sibelius and doing orchestral work. And then when I realized that you can do so much of that, like kind of in the DAW, I was like, I think that really sparked my interest in production. But I don't think it came very naturally to me at all. Like I had to work quite hard to understand. Like I really just wanted to, when I learn something, I want to understand every part of it. So I had to do a lot of work to really understand like the physics of the audio world. And I'm very big on like learning the engineering side as well as producing. I didn't want to be like just kind of putting ideas together and not having an educated understanding of how I can achieve certain results. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I fell into it and I just, through uni, and I just fell in love with it. I loved it. I just got obsessed, and I was in the studio as often as I could be. I'd be there till 3 a.m. constantly. And it was always just me. I was just recording myself, and it was so annoying. I would just like set up a microphone in one room, run back into the control room, patch all the cables in, set up the session, run back into the other room. I was always, just because I was always in there at crazy hours, because I was working like 4 jobs to pay my rent. And so I was always there by myself, but I loved it. And I feel like I just really pushed myself to learn as much as I could. Like I didn't necessarily get the best grades, but I feel like I really learnt, and I spent my time learning the gear and placement and things like that. And then I actually, at the end of my degree, I lost my voice from stress and overuse. I was teaching like 5 days a week. I was doing shows 5 days a week. I was recording in the studio. I was doing my university assessments, and I was very close to developing nodules, but I caught it just in time, and I had to go on vocal rest for about 3 months, and I had to like completely reshift my lifestyle. I had to stop teaching, which is a blessing because I actually really didn't like teaching, and it kind of forced me to go, okay, well, I need to still do music, because that otherwise I will go insane. I sing every minute of every day. So it was really difficult. And suddenly I had all this time because I was like, well, I can't work. So I started making beats, and I started just setting myself challenges for every day to produce something new. And I started working with people, and I didn't really consider that as an option. I didn't consider that I could be a producer, and I didn't really consider myself as a producer for quite a long time because of just a lot of imposter syndrome and things like that. But yeah, I just started producing for other people, and I was like, oh, wait, I love this. And it means I get to be involved in so much more music and all these different styles, but I can still keep a consistent branding across my artist page, but I can like explore so many different realms of production. And yeah, I just fell in love with it. And then I just kept doing it. And I was just working on anything that I could, which was great at the start, and then kind of just got a bit chaotic. And now I try and keep things more in the realm of things that make sense to my artist project. But yeah, I just fell in love, and I love it so much. And I never want to stop learning about production. Like, I'm always doing new things, and I always love to do something new. And yeah, I just like literally, I had a few days off. I literally had like 3 or 4 days off being in the studio. And I was like, I got back in yesterday and I had a session, and I was just like, oh, finally I'm home. Like, I just love it. I just love it. So yeah.
That's great. In addition to doing the sound producing and engineering, have you produced any music videos?
I've produced my own. I always do the creative direction of my own music videos. And one of the awesome collaborators that I work with, Andy, who's done most of my music videos, said that I would be a good music video director because I have very strong, like, I'm a very visual worker. I really love to produce with visual stimulus. So often I'll get artists that I'm working with to like make me a mood board or kind of tell me like what visuals they're thinking of. Because when I'm producing, I'm often working to that. So if I find that if they can paint me a bit of a picture or they can give me a mood board, I can see the sounds that they want me to make. So I find that really interesting, and I really love to work in that way. But yeah, so I've only done my own. I think it's really fun. I just don't think I have enough time to expand that into my portfolio. I think I'm busy enough being a producer and artist.
Yeah. So with that in mind, we're now going to give you an opportunity to see one of Emeree's music videos. This is one that she produced called Eyesore.
I'll set my worth in a text. You throw your weight on the back of me, and you call it love. These are the cards I've been dealt, and I never really liked myself. Maybe I'm not too sensitive, maybe it's representative. Maybe my hyper feminine compensates for your lack of a gentleman. You ask why I'm so emotional, like mania, I got no self-control. But I'm the girl that you die for, I'll cover you up, you eyesore. I pull my hair from my face. Got my brown eyes out, you turned into such a waste. Little pins full of rage, I put our thoughts to the page. Bigger chest, better weight, and she'll help me burn you out with sage. Maybe I'm just too sensitive, maybe it's representative. Maybe I'm hyper feminine, compensating for your lack of gentleman. You ask why I'm so emotional, my mania, I got no self-control. But I'm the girl that you die for, I'll cover you up, you eyesore. That make me a criminal. You're not worth my unconditional love. This is unforgivable. I'm the girl you should have died for, I'm the one you couldn't supply for. You can wrap me in all your songs, you can go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. You can wrap me in all your songs, go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. Spit on my face, claim you're my saving grace. Say what you want to achieve, I'll make sure I'll beat ya. me a whore. No, my approach is so boring. Good luck with your songs when you don't have me to sing. Try, make me a criminal. You can try it. Unconditional love. This is unforgivable. I'm the girl you shouldn't have died for. I'm the one you couldn't supply for. Got me in all your songs. Go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong. Got me in all your songs. Go ahead, prove me wrong. You're the reason I have to be strong.
Well, Emeree, it's fun to watch and listen and kind of see you in action there, and we appreciate that opportunity. What do you have coming up that you'd like us to know about?
So I'm currently locked away in the studio working on a body of work. I released a mixtape earlier this year in August, which was so exciting. Oh, September. Yeah, in September, sorry. And that was really, really fun. And I was so excited to put that out into the world. But I'm really excited for this next project that I'm putting together. I love working on bodies of work and realizing an entire kind of world. So I'm working towards that, but I do have some collaborations coming out soon. I've been working with a lot of other artists, and I've got some duets and fun little remixes that I've got coming at the moment.
That's great. You know, you talk about collaborations, and something I would be remiss if I didn't talk to you about is we have a mutual friend, Izzy Stein,
yes,
an artist located in New York who has appeared on this show a couple of different times and is a great friend. And you actually produced the album that she released a while back, not that long ago, actually, within the last year, Questions.
Yes.
And I'm curious about how you and Izzy ended up connecting and how that all came about.
Yeah, so I met Izzy on my first day in New York ever. I had never been to New York before, and I was trying to beat jet lag because that's huge when you're coming from Australia. And I just looked up I just wanted to I was staying in Brooklyn, I was staying in Williamsburg, and I was like, I'm just going to see if there's a SoFar show on. And I looked one up and there was one. So I just quickly bought a ticket and was like, I'm not even going to look at they don't really give you the lineup. And I just was like, I'll just turn up, see what I'm going to see. And Izzy was the first artist on the bill. And as soon as she stopped, I was like, and it was a really small gig in the middle of Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. There were maybe 20 people there. It was it was such a cute little cozy gig. Went up to her and I was like, hey, I'm an R&B producer. I really like your stuff and your voice is great. I think we should collaborate. We should try a little co-write while I'm here. I'm here for a few more weeks. And we almost didn't have time. I think we only ended up getting to do that in the last few days before I flew to Nashville. And we got in the studio at this at Pirate Studio. So they're all these really basic but great little spaces. And we worked on Questions, the single. And I would worked on it when I got back home, and I was producing from remotely. And then she ended up calling me and saying, hey, I want you to produce my whole album. And so I ended up back in New York, which is my favorite city in the world. And we worked on that, and I was just so incredibly grateful to get to do that, because it's my favorite city and I love her music so much, and I really got to work to a full album and a full body of work, and it was really awesome. It was really, really great.
And she's just a fun person, so that makes
she's
it
so
even
fun. I got to stay with her for a month. It was so fun.
And I noticed, this is just an aside, but I noticed as she was putting together her little Body of Gold dance videos not too long ago, that she got you in there doing Body of Gold dance with her.
Yes. Yeah. It was, I was on my way to see a show last time I was in New York a few months ago. And it was yeah, we managed to find some time to link up, thank God. And yeah, but just literally out the front of the theater, she was like, "Can we quickly do the Body of Gold dance?" And I was like, "Yes, let's do it." Got some random person in Times Square to film us.
That's
and
great.
We did the Body of Gold dance. Yeah,
that just kind of defines being in New York.
Exactly.
Emeree, where can people find information about you? Where can they find your music online, where they can, anything that they want to look up to find out where they can connect with you further?
So I'm everywhere under Emeree. My handle is it's Emeree Music. So ITSEMEREE music. And yeah, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all the streaming services. I'm everywhere that you could possibly find me.
And specifically, if they want to look for your music, is that Spotify? Is that Bandcamp?
Everywhere.
Where they find all of the
Everywhere.
basic music streaming platforms?
Yes.
They're going to find you.
Yeah.
And we're going to show those, by the way. We're going to be posting those. We're going to make sure everybody has access to that. We'll drop the links in our chat so everybody has a chance to follow up. And after they've seen your music video, I have no doubt whatsoever they're going to want to find out more about Emeree. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Coffee Breaks with Steve from Clearover in Australia. And thank you for what you are doing to make the whole creative world a better place.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I really hope I unmute my mic. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you were both informed and entertained. I said a little bit edgy, and I think you could see that from the music video. But again, I loved it. I absolutely, I was introduced to Emeree, as you may have figured out, through Izzy Stein. And before Emeree and we were trying to work this out since, I think, to have her as a guest on the show since sometime maybe in February or March, and just trying to get our schedules and the timing and working across the international date line to make things happen is always an interesting challenge with any of our guests, just making sure that we're accommodating their schedule. But we were working on this for a while, and I'd had time leading into this to watch Emeree's music videos and to listen to some of her music, and just her vocal style. I do catch some similarities in certain stylistic ways between Emeree and Izzy, so I can see how the connection was a natural one in terms of them relating to each other with their music preferences and styles and approach and just personalities. Again, thank you, Emeree, for taking the time to join us. And we were fortunate on that neither one of us had to be up in the middle of the night to do that, which can happen sometimes working across multiple time zones. So that was good, but that was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with Emeree, to following her career. I encourage you to do the same. We've posted links to several of her sites. You can find, she's got more than that. She mentioned TikTok, there's Bandcamp. You can go out and just do a search on Australian musician Emeree, and you're going to find all kinds of links and all kinds of information out there. But you can easily go to Spotify, you can go to YouTube, and you can find music and music videos, and you can follow her on Instagram and Facebook and continue to see where she is performing and what she is doing. But such a breadth and depth of talent across so many different ways. Listen, we want to let you know some things that are coming up on Coffee Breaks with Steve. We do have some I think, amazing topics, amazing guests coming up in the next few weeks. And here's just a little taste of what's coming up in the next couple of weeks on Coffee Breaks.
And it is a lot of work. There's a weekend every year when I think we are never going to get this done.
And he always says, we're not doing this next year.
We're not doing this next year. I can't believe that I'm still doing this. This is crazy. Things aren't working the way they should, and I'm just desperate And that, I think, last year was when our friends took a little pity on us, and I was like, can you help with this? Can you help with that? And they said, oh, sure. And they were starting to get into it. So I'm hoping that they will not have been deterred after last year's experience. I think they're good to do it again this year.
Like 20% is your personality and your character, and then 80% is work. So it's a little bit also for me like with sport, yes, but so we need the very skilled body to play the piano, especially like the whole body, because we see that pianist is playing with fingers, but the fingers are the end of the whole machine, yes, which is playing. So the whole body is involved in playing.
Once again, just some amazing guests. I feel so privileged in hosting this show to have the opportunity to meet and to speak to so many people who have such fantastic stories. We all have great stories to share. And really, if there is a key purpose and a key focus to what Coffee Breaks with Steve it is about bringing those stories to life, bringing those stories together and sharing them in so many ways. We have a few other topics that are going to be coming up in the next few weeks following those two. That kind of gets us into the month of November, but we are going to be doing a follow-up on the episode of artificial intelligence that Carissa hosted a few weeks back with Christopher on here. Christopher, my son, Carissa's brother. Yeah, I've got that correct. Good. Works in the high-tech industry, and is one of his areas of expertise is cybersecurity. And he has spent a lot of time looking into both how AI is currently impacting a lot of things in the high-tech world, but also how those things are affecting us here. So, in this day and age in our homes, and there were a variety of great things covered in that episode, but there were also some things that they couldn't get to. It was just so full that we felt it was very appropriate to have a continuing conversation on that. And some more things have been coming out recently in the news that I find very fascinating. So we are going to be talking about that in November. We are also going to have another guest on here. Illy Pete is a leader in the nonprofit world. She is a community leader. She is also an author. She recently wrote a book called Glass Ceilings, Fragile Ground, which I am currently reading. And it's a book on leadership, but it covers it from her perspective as a woman of color who has had to find ways to get around some of the obstacles, both the glass ceilings and trying to find a firm foundation to build her own career and pursue her own passions and interests. And she uses that as a fantastic basis for talking about leadership and talking about how when we are facing certain obstacles or facing certain challenges, whether they are external or internal, what are some of the things that we can do to overcome that? A great conversation for every single one of us to learn from and to contribute to from our own perspective. We have our book club panel episode coming up where we've got, I think, participants now to be able to record that. I'm going to be working with the people who have volunteered and have agreed to be part of our book club panel. And we're going to have an episode coming up in November, looks like probably, to talk about what it means to be part of a book club. How does it work when you've got a group of people who are together deciding on what book you're going to read corporately, and how you come together to talk about that, and how you work through things like reading a book that is from an author or a genre or a style that may not be one that you would have chosen, and yet you're reading that and you're conversing on that and sharing ideas about that with others. We're going to have that conversation, which for me will be interesting and informative because I've never been in a book club, never been part of that. My reading is always what I feel like reading. And then if it happens that I encounter somebody else who read the same book, we can talk about it. So we're going to have that going on. What are the topics that you would like to discuss? Who are the guests that you would like to see us have to join the chat on Coffee Breaks with Steve, you can send us your ideas. In fact, I invite you, I encourage you, share your ideas. And if you know someone, there are so many times, so many of the guests that have been on this show in the past 6+ years, 6.5 years now, we have had over 100 people who have joined this show to date. 105 in total, in fact. We keep count of these things because we like to know. But of those, so many came about because one of you who had an idea, or you knew somebody, you said their story would be great. What they have to share would be absolutely great. And so, by the way, you may have noticed in the comments here what we're referring to this group, you, the people who join us around our virtual coffee table. You're the Brew Crew. You remember a while back we were talking about what we were going to refer to this group as? We decided we're going to call you the Brew Crew. I need enough coffee in my system to be able to pronounce that. And we may come up with a tongue twister to go with it. I don't know. But you're the Brew Crew. And we would like our Brew Crew to be part of not only being part of the chat, part of the conversation each week, but helping us come up with the ideas and make the introductions to people who should be on here as our guests, so that we continue to hear great stories, that we're inspired and motivated by people who have amazing things to share. So please be a part of that conversation if you would. We mentioned YouTube earlier because Emeree's out there. So is Coffee Breaks with Steve. Did you know that we have a YouTube channel? And our subscriber list has grown. But we would like to reach more people, because where some of you come in here and join the conversation when we live stream, YouTube is one of the places where we can reach even more people. People who may not be on Facebook, they may not join the live stream in the chat there, but they can go in later and they can watch. They can learn about artists like Emeree. They can find out about her music. They can hear from some of the inspiring people who come on as guests, and they can be part of their own portion, their own segment of the Brew Crew by joining in and watching our episodes even later. So please, if you're not already a subscriber on our YouTube channel, would you consider doing that? Go to the YouTube channel. You can just put in CBWS or Coffee Breaks with Steve, and you'll find our channel. You can subscribe. And once you're a subscriber, would you go in and just check out some of the videos, like them, hit the bell that's on there so that you're alerted when we have new videos out there. And please do this. Share the YouTube channel with other people you know who you think would enjoy. They may not watch every single episode, but they might enjoy or be inspired or motivated by something that's out there. Every now and then even. It makes a difference. It really does make a difference. And these stories do need to be shared. Okay, that's my pitch for the day. That's all that I really need to talk about and get on the soapbox about. But I do want to say once again, Emeree, thank you, my friend, for taking the time to join us from Australia. And we wish you the very best as you continue to pursue all the things that you're pursuing. Thank you to all of you in the Brew Crew for being here today. Thank you for being part of the conversation and not only giving yourself the opportunity to be inspired by others, but to be an inspiration. Remember, we all have voices. We all have hands and feet. We can do something. We can touch the lives of those around us. We can speak out when we see injustice. We can do the things that make change. So please find a way to make a difference in your world this week. God bless you. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on Coffee Breaks with Steve.